Hello, welcome everyone to this virtual presentation. My name is Haley and I'm a community navigator for Illinois Legal Aid Online. Today I'm going to tell you about the new Illinois Rental Payment Program, which is also known as ILRPP. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you any legal advice or tell you what to do, but I can tell you what the program is, how to apply, and what to expect when you do apply. The purpose of this program is to help both landlords and tenants. It's meant to prevent tenants who are unable to pay rent because of COVID from being evicted, but also to prevent landlords who are going into foreclosure on these rental properties. You might hear the Illinois rental payment program called landlords housing providers, but I'm just going to refer to them as landlords throughout this presentation. So when is this going to happen? Well, all applications must be submitted through the Illinois Housing Development Authority's online portal. We'll talk about that in a second. And the portal is open for only 3 weeks, starting Monday, June 28th through Sunday, July 18th. So you must act fast. How much can be granted through this program? Well, landlords and tenants can apply for rental assistance that covers up to 12 months of back rent, meaning rent that was owed starting in June of 2020, but also 3 months of future rent, meaning through August of 2021. Rental assistance is not guaranteed. All payments are based on tenant need. The most anybody can get is $25,000 per rental unit. Again, not everybody who qualifies will get the $25,000. It's just based on their need and how much rent is owed. Also remember, this is a grant. The money does not have to be paid back. So who qualifies? Well, not everybody will qualify. To be eligible, the tenant's rental unit must be their primary home and it must be in Illinois. The tenant must have had a financial hardship or loss of income because of COVID. The tenant must also be behind on rent for at least 30 days and at risk of homelessness or housing instability, which just means they may be close to homelessness or not able to find other safe and permanent housing. The households must have an annual income in 2020 that was at or below 80% of the area median income, which just means below average income for their area. It's important to note citizenship is not required to get rental assistance. The application is not going to ask for proof of citizenship. Additionally, know the program is not considered a public charge benefit, which just means that receiving money from this program will not affect an immigrant's ability to get the visa or green card. So how do you apply? So tenants must start the application by going to ilrpp.ihda.org. They will complete and submit section 1 of the application. After that, the tenant will receive an email within 24 hours with instructions to complete section 2. If the tenant doesn't receive the email, make sure that they check their junk or spam folder in their email. And if you're a tenant and have completed section 2, tell your landlord to expect an email with instructions to fill out their part of the application. A tenant needs to provide a valid email address, a government issued ID, proof of address, like a utility bill, but only if their address differs from what's on their ID, proof of any benefits they receive, like SNAP, Medicaid, and proof of household income for 2020. After the tenant finishes their part of the application, the landlord will get an email with instructions to complete their part of the application. The tenant has until Sunday, July 18th to complete their portion of the application. When filling out their part of the application, the landlord must provide proof of ownership, the property management agreement, their social security number or Illinois tax identification number, a signed lease, proof of past due rent, and payment information for how the check should be deposited. If you need help applying, there are housing support service organizations that are able to help you. Call 866-454-3571 to be contacted to one of them. This helpline is open starting May 17th from 8 to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. They provide help in English, Spanish, and Polish. How can I talk to my landlord if they don't want to apply for rental assistance at all? Just remind your landlord that getting this money will help you both. Explain to them how you have been and will be a good tenant. Remind them how hard it can be to find a new tenant. If you know other tenants in the building, talk to them about reaching out to the landlord too. See the list of agencies at www.ihda.org or call the helpline to find an agency that may be able to help you talk to your landlord.
This is a joint application process. Generally, both the landlord and tenant have to complete their part of the application. If rent assistance is granted, the money is paid directly to the landlord, not the tenant. However, if the landlord refuses to complete their part of the application, the tenant can get the money directly. We'll talk about that in a minute. In addition to having their back rent and future rent paid, there are other benefits for tenants. If the landlord receives rent payment through this program, the landlord must waive any fees or penalties related to the rent the tenant owes. The landlord also cannot start or continue evictions for the past due rent for the covered period. So if you are a tenant that has applied for rental assistance and your landlord refuses to apply and refuses to fill out their part of the application, what do? Well, you will get an email telling you that they won't respond. You will have to contact a housing service agency and attend an hour-long rental counseling session. The helpline can help you find a service agency. After that, you will have to upload a rental counseling certificate of completion and proof of past due rent to the application portal.
You can find more information in this presentation at illinoislegalaid.org. Go to our article, Get Up to $25,000 from the state of Illinois to pay rent, at this URL listed right here. And you can also find a link to the rental assistance application on this page.